Between the two of them. The inside of Coates. Parker gets too heavily involved. And that's Whitehead and Coates.
Hello everybody and welcome to the VRRC for the final round of this Academy Formula 4 Championship. I'm Ed May. Joining me in the commentary box for what is set to be an amazing evening's racing here at Cadwell Park is the equally wonderful Dave Marshall.
How are we doing there, Ed? Yeah, as you said, here at Cadwell Park, probably the most difficult track on the calendar, mixed with one of the stiffest cars, stiffest chassis. Doesn't lend itself to be an easy car at all to get round Cadwell Park, never mind to actually race this track. So going to be really, really interesting and really difficult on the drivers to get that consistency and get the actual race completed without any form of damage.
Yes, it is one of the hardest tracks, but also a track that last season provided us with great racing. You can see here the tracks that they've been to: Brands Hatch, Silverstone National, Donington Park, Snetterton 300, Thruxton last week. What a great evening that was, and we're set for an even better one, hopefully, to round out the season at Cadwell Park. So the last time the drivers will be using this Formula 4 machinery, because next season, in 2 weeks' time, they will be in the Audi TT Cup. Sign-ups are open. They have been for the past few weeks, so any drivers that want to get involved are more than welcome to. You can see the prices on offer for next season in the Audi TT Cup: AOC gaming headphones and 2 hours of coaching. Second place will get you Permaxed valeting and 1 hour of coaching, and third prize, much like this season, gets you 2 hours of coaching split up of one-to-one coaching and car setup coaching. The tracks much the same as well: Brands, Silverstone, Donington, Snetterton, Thruxton and Cadwell. So that means the tracks aren't any different, but the car certainly is. With that pushed pass, it's going to be a really brilliant series. Make sure to get involved if you haven't done so already. What was the story last time out? Well, Luke Weston coming out top above all of the rest, and his performance got his awards, with not only taking top honours but also taking driver of the round. All of us in the comms box felt that he was just so consistent, a cut above the rest, and that has seen him secure that position with Mick Sutton, their second place in the evening. A very tumultuous evening for Mick, and actually, to be fair, Brad Smith, but they did great in fighting back up through the field, overcoming adversity to come second and third last time out at Thruxton. What has that done to the point standings, though? Well, not enough to take away from Simon Reed's advantage. If he just gets 13 points this evening, he will be crowned champion for the second season in a row. He did it once before in the MX-5. Can he do it again in the Formula 4? Taylor Flanagan has got a lot of work to do. Realistically, to have any chance, he'll need to win both race 1 and race 2 to have any sort of a chance. Brad Smith as well, not too far behind, only 2 points away from getting into second place. So keep your eyes open for Brad Smith and Taylor Flanagan battling together this evening. Luke Weston in 4th, Kenny Press 5th, only 2 points back from Kenny then is Mick Sutton, a Mick who's had a very tumultuous season, it's fair to say. Not been quite getting to grips with the Formula 4 that you maybe expected him to do, but towards the end of the season, and also at this Cadwell Park circuit, he's going to have to come up very strong to try and make something from this season. You can see, like we mentioned, the prizes for this season very much the same as the upcoming. You see gaming headphones, coaching, car valeting for second place, and coaching, and third place coaching spread across 2 1-hour sessions. So we've come now to the time where the drivers are about to get out on the circuit, do their qualifying laps, but we don't actually, unfortunately, have anything prepared, so we're going to have to do it live. Dave Marshall, pick a driver and we're going to go on board so you can talk us through a lap of this Cadwell Park circuit.
Yeah, I mean, a very, very busy weekend for us down at Thruxton, supporting the British touring cars. So unfortunately, not the time to get our hot lap video out. But as you said, we're going to jump on board. We'll wait till Simon gets round for the start of the next lap before we pick him up and actually comment on how the lap is and the best lines to take. But I was just going to quickly touch a bit more on the Audi TT championship that's coming up, a little bit info about the actual car and what's involved in it. So as you've already said, Ed, the sign-ups are live already for the Audi TT, and for me, probably my favourite car to actually race. It always provides fantastic action, and it's a little bit similar to actually racing in the LMP3 categories, where you've got the likes of the extra boost and you've got to calculate your races a little bit more than just actually driving the car. So the cars are around 300 to 350 horsepower, but at the press of a button you get 8 seconds of charge. That allows you then to get an extra 50 horsepower of boost and allows that opportunity to either get closer or get that pass done. So as Simon Reed comes around the last corner, here we go, about to cross the line. He'll just about get it to the top end of 5th gear before turn 1. See there, just narrowly missing the car, completely flat through the left-hander. We'll want to actually turn in early, get it across that curve and turning on the crest here, down into turn 2. Crucially, get the best speed possible through there, as this is probably your best overtaking opportunity. Getting in that slipstream, really good drive down this straight, and then an opportunity to go for a dive or force a driver into a possible defensive move. Into park, turn 4, 3rd gear, trying to get on the throttle as early as possible and round this long right-hander. I mean, there's probably multiple apexes through this, but as long as you just keep your floor, keep the shortest line possible, then down to 3rd gear you'll see Simon here. Top end of 3rd, but that's just to lock that diff up and stop that car from spinning. Super early turn in at the bottom of turn 8. Quite a difficult corner, but a lot of camber on the inside. And then into turns 9 and 10. Super difficult, slower than you think into the left-hander, but on the power super early to drive it up and towards the mountain. Now through turns 13, 14, 15, you can see taking a lot of the inside, but it's all to get them straight for, as you see, that jump. If you're not straight there, the car will not land nice at all and can possibly spit you off. Into the last corner, he's actually 2nd there, but you can carry 3rd there to get a drive out, and this should be around a 28, I would imagine, by Simon Reed. A 27-1, in fact. I'm sorry about that, Simon. That was a better lap than it looked, but you know what they said, the smoother the better and the faster. So fair play, Simon, great lap.
Yeah, I saw that you did a lap earlier on in the time when the practice sessions were up, and not to call you out, Dave, but you were still faster, doing a 26.65. But that isn't too far off, is it? Half a second difference. And Simon Reed, as an academy driver, very quick indeed. I think he's been listening to you in these midweek Q&A sessions, because he's come on so strong in this Formula 4. A cut above the rest here.
Yeah, so we did a Q&A session as we do every single week. It's part of the Academy sign-up. So if you sign up the TT, you'll also get exactly the same. You sign up, you get a weekly Q&A, and it turns into a Q&A masterclass. Really, transfer of questions from the drivers on what they might have, but then also a bit of a masterclass of how to drive the following track the next week. Simon was in there, plenty of questions asked. We jumped on board with him, helped him through the lap a little bit, and I was explaining this a bit before, Ed. It's a bit of one of them tracks where you've got to know where you can push and know when you've got to back off. There's no point trying to gain time in sections where it is super sketchy, like actually on point Brad Smith finding the limit there. That's one of them sections where you've got to remember you can gain a little bit of time through them sections, but it's about getting through them. The time to be gained is going onto that first straight, because that's going to be overtaking or defending place in the race. So that is the key, where we see Sam Milner at the moment, getting that run out onto this straight and giving yourself the chance to make them places up. The mountain is all about just keeping it on track and getting a super consistent line through there.
Yeah, so like you say, trying to be nice and steady. What can Sam Milner do? Currently 3rd fastest. Just a 10th shy as well of Luke Weston. Another thing to note, though, is Championship protagonist 2nd place as it stood coming into Cadwell Park. Taylor Flanagan not here. Hopefully we're able to see him. If not, that does mean that Brad Smith, who's currently sitting 7th place in this qualifying session, could be on for a great result. As, oh my word, what was that? Sam Milner going airborne, nearly flying off the circuit there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a driver of the round, and is there a highest driver of the round, maybe? That was a fair jump there.
Whoa.
Oh, Mick Sutton with super commitment over the mountain there, wheeling his way down towards the second to right hander there before the finish line. It's actually super hard to do what Mick Sutton's just done there. He was clearly on the power, nice and straight, front wheels off the ground, but you need to get them down to get the car stopped for that
That was
right
only an
hander.
outlap.
Exactly, so it's down to first gear there. And I tell you what, the fact he managed to get that stop there, incredibly impressive driving there by Mick Sutton. But yeah, as you said, the second place driver in this season, Taylor O'Flanagan, unfortunately, he did drop us a message just before the race started and said he's been stuck at an event with work, so he's not going to manage to get back in time for the race tonight. So that does mean that second place is really open now for Brad Smith. But I tell you what, Luke Weston is looking like he's on a charge, and it's going to be really close. The battle to watch tonight is between Luke Weston and Brad Smith for that second place. Simon Reed, unless if anything particularly bad goes wrong, I'm going to stick my neck out on the line and say he's got this one in the bag.
Well, with an advantage that Simon Reed has over the rest, I think it's a pretty safe bet, but you'll never know, do you? This Academy Series has thrown up a few surprises here and there as Simon Reed actually making a mistake there coming down the hill. So just shows that even the quickest drivers aren't necessarily bulletproof. He'll hope that that was just the nature of pushing hard and he's going to not have those mistakes come the race. See what Kenny Press can do in the noddy car. Going up through the mountain into the forest section. Now look at this. He's not really racing it too hard. As I say that, big twitch as the car gets light at the rear over the crest while coming back down again. Not sure if this is going to be an improvement for Kenny Press. No, it definitely won't be. So we'll instead focus to see if he can come through for this next lap. Well, we won't, because he's going to come into the pits. There's a big moment there with Rich Hayden.
Yeah, I have actually noticed though, one big development was Mick Sutton. Mick Sutton's just put it second on the grid and he's going faster again this lap. So Mick's really starting to get a bit into that stride now. And I tell you what, this is not what Luke Weston needed. He needed that bigger gap between him and Brad Smith. But as I say that, Brad Smith really struggling to get a strong lap in there at all. A 1:34.7, the best time on the board at the moment. So he's going to need to manage to find a little bit more consistency and quite a lot more speed to actually challenge Luke Weston there going into the race. Yeah, so as we look at Mick Sutton here, just getting a little bit sideways, coming over the crest there. As I said, this mountain section's got to be super consistent, and you can see there, Mick Sutton just pushing it a little bit too hard, coming up towards the crest there, and actually a driver doing very, very well there to avoid a collision. I believe was that Luke Weston, I believe, doing a very good job to miss the back of Mick Sutton there. Honestly, if you were on board with Luke Weston there at helmet cam, you'd have seen how blind that was to come over that crest and to avoid Mick Sutton. Very, very fast reactions there indeed. Sam Milne, you can see, just pushing the car a little bit too hard yet again in that section where you just need to sit back and let that track come to you a little bit more. Just looking at the timing screens, there's no one really going that much faster. Sam Milner was on a better lap there, but unfortunately that excursion in that third sector has just meant he hasn't quite managed to beat that lap time. I'm interested to keep an eye on Luke Weston. I saw in time practice he had quite a lot more time left in the car than his current lap that he's put on screen. He's probably about a second off of where he was in time practice, so whether that time practice was just a ridiculously good lap or whether he just hasn't managed to hook the lap up. That looked fair good through there though, an early turn in second gear, now towards the really tricky uphill section. Will he get the car slowed down enough? That's looking very good. In fact, early on the power driving all the way up the hill here. Third gear, he might grab fourth. He has indeed. Nice and slow through the left, so you can get the car rotated back right. That's nice and steady over the jump as well. Down to first, that'll give him great drive out. Sometimes you can find yourself too quick into that right. Being in second gear. Yeah, this is looking like a very good lap indeed. He lost 0.3 to Simon Reed in sector 1, but it's a good lap still at 27.5. That's seen him go ahead of Sam, but more crucially, Brad Smith's improved to a 29.2, but that just isn't enough It's going to be incredibly hard to overtake around here, Ed. And I tell you what, the pressure is going to be on for Brad to battle for this second place.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Brad just has that in the tank. You can see through the first sector, Brad has left a little bit of time there, and actually he's had a mistake coming down through the left-hander here as another driver has had a mistake. Who was that just rejoining the circuit? I think that was Simon Thorpe. Yes, it was. So drivers really finding this Cadwell Park circuit difficult, more so I think than they saw in the MX-5, just from the nature of the car, the nature of the circuit as well, being as narrow it is in the high downforce machinery.
Yeah.
So hard to get right. Look at Rich Hayden absolutely blitzing it through this uphill section before he has to plunge down now to the start finish line. What can Rich Hayden pull out? Currently sitting 5th fastest. Personal best first and second sector, and that is enough to put him 4th fastest now. Excellent time there from Rich.
Yes, I'm going to actually put our broadcaster Tom O'Farrell under a little bit of pressure here. I see Simon Reed's coming down the hill. If possible, Tom, can we grab a hold of Simon Reed going through the mountain section? He has. Look at that. He's top on the job. Proper job there by Tom. Doing a fantastic job with the cameras. So what I was going to say was, he's saying about these cars are struggling around here, Ed. So watch him come through the mountain section, and that right-hander that I was telling about, you need to be down first. See if you can catch the front wheel. You watch that lift up off the floor because of how stiff the chassis is. So you'll come over the jumper here and watch this right-hander as the inside the corner drops away. Just see there the front wheel lift up as you turn that right. So you can see the amount of gradient elsewhere on track. Now if it's doing that to the front wheel there, imagine how little traction the rear wheels have also got in certain parts of this track. And that's what's catching the drivers out. You're going into some of the corners a little bit hot, just meaning it's unweighting the car onto that nose and lifting the back wheel off the floor. As soon as that back wheel comes off the floor, there's the rotation, and the time they've got to actually catch that is so small. So that's why drivers find this a little bit difficult. The anti-roll bars have been softened off a lot in these cars. In fact, I think it's realistically the back one's almost out altogether, just trying to give the car some sort of flex. When you're setting a car up, especially for tracks like this, you either run a car super stiff and allow the dampers to do the work, or you do it the opposite way where you stiffen the dampers and let the cars flex, do the work. As Simon Thorpe, a complete wheelie through that section, doing actually very well indeed to get the car stopped again there. And that's one of the things that we do see in the British touring cars. You look at Ash Sutton's car, looks very soft, but that's because the car chassis itself is that stiff. They've softened the car up to get the traction. Whereas you look at the likes of the BMW, yes, the car's stiff, but they have gone the opposite way, where they're just trying to get the grip using the dampers alone. So, yeah, a little bit of inside information there of how we've managed to try and get these cars set up for this track. But the key is to try and actually get a bit of flex back in these cars to keep them tyres on the tarmac.
Yeah, so Simon Reed then going through the final corner. He'll have another chance in qualifying, as I think will Sam Miller. Sam will just come across the line as the checkered flag is waved. Simon Reed, though, deciding that is enough from qualifying from himself, so he won't be taking any further part. What can Sam Milner do now? We'll follow him through as he's the last driver to set a valid qualifying lap, you would imagine. Coming up to the crucial right-hander for the rest of the lap, missing the apex slightly. Has he carried enough speed, do you reckon, here, Dave, to have something out of this?
Well, I would probably say he needs to be carrying 5th through both right-handers at the start there, so I would say he's probably not carrying the speed that he really needs to early on in that lap. It is really hard though, Ed. You've got two super blind apexes. The first one, they almost just need to hold the car on the inside and throw it over the inside. And then the second one, completely blind. You've got to turn on the top of the hill when you can't even see the corner. So it takes a lot of commitment, but if you can get the line right, there's so much time to be gained there. And as I said, you're going onto that straight, and that's where you're going to get them overtakes. So I would say actually, for all, Sam's done a really good time here, sitting there in 5th place. If he doesn't get them first two corners running a little bit quicker, that could leave him really vulnerable at the start of this race.
Yeah, so it's all about getting it absolutely nailed at the beginning for all drivers, but none more so than our current pole sitter. I don't think Sam Milner has found the time either. You can see that mountain section was very shaky, and Sam Milner opts to come into the pit lane. So that means this man, Simon Reed, is going to be your pole sitter this evening at Cadwell Park. And you know what? Dave Marshall is going to have a word with him now.
Yeah, so we'll jump down to Simon Reed, his car there on screen, and I imagine there's probably a fist in the air going, that was a great lap, a 27-1. Phenomenal lap, Simon. And actually, we were on board with one of your fast laps there that I was actually using as a bit of commentary, and I said it looks like a 28 to me, but it was because of how smooth you were driving it and the momentum you were carrying. What a fantastic lap.
Yeah, I mean that's a personal best for me, and yeah, I mean that was as good a lap as I've ever done, and yeah, it feels good to put that in early on in the session as well, and then I could just push for the rest and see if I could pull anything more out.
Yeah, I mean, also your last lap shown on the server was a 27.2, so it shows a little bit of that consistency is there as well. Even though it's a really fast lap time, it looks like you can repeat it.
Yeah, I think so. I feel fairly good at this track. I know it's a tricky track, particularly in this car, but I sort of gel with it a bit. So hopefully I can keep it on the track during the race, and I think that will work out well if I can.
Yeah, well, definitely. I think you've got a fairly good head going into this, knowing that you've got a championship lead there, but obviously you're going to have to do catastrophically bad, realistically, to throw away this championship. I think it's actually technically impossible unless if you have 2 disconnections, which we obviously wouldn't hope for you, Simon. So huge congratulations, putting it on pole by quite a convincing pole as well, should I say, and great luck going forward into race 1, and hopefully we chat to you again afterwards.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you very much, Dave.
So Simon Reed there, pole sitter for this first race here at Cadwell Park, but we're going to go now to a quick advert. We'll be back with all of the action here on VRRC very shortly. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the VRRC. You can see all of these lovely Formula 4s up on the grid. Front row consisting of Simon Reed and Luke Weston up alongside him. Mick Sutton will be starting 3rd ahead of Rich Hayden. Sam Milner is in 5th ahead of Brad Smith. Kenny Press 7th. Simon Thorpe 8th. And that is all the cars actually on the grid. So, Dave, what's your reckoning on this? Do you think that Simon Reed can stay in front, or is Luke Weston going to mount a charge in the early stages?
Yes, this is where, as a driver on the grid, you have a little bit in your head what you sort of plan to do. All the drivers are completely flat through turn 1, so they're going to know turn 1 shouldn't be really too much of a bottleneck from the opening lap. Without doubt, being in Luke Weston's mind here, he'll be sat 2nd on the grid, knowing Simon Reed was quick in qualifying, and if I don't put an early move on, the chances Simon Reed will pull away. So without doubt, Luke Weston will be on the attack super early here, and probably, I would have thought, making sure that he gets in that tour, getting that slipstream down that first straight, and give himself a great opportunity to put a lunge on going at that right-hander. That is going to be the real first bottleneck. Cold tyres a difficult right-hander to judge your braking point. That's going to be the difficult one. So we'll wait and see.
Yes, wait and see. We definitely shall. The car's just waiting to get underway now. You can see the lights coming up on the screens now. Engine notes beginning to rise. What can Simon Reed get off the line? Is he going to get a good start? All cars get off the line nice and cleanly. Already Mick Sutton looking through to try and find some track space. Look at the run from Luke Weston. He's going to try and go around the outside into the first corner. Oh, but is he going to have the overlap? Yes, he does. Luke Weston, an amazing start to get into the lead of the race through the first couple of corners. But now, as they exit Charlie's, look how close Simon Reed is. He's pushing him basically all the way down this back straight, trying to find a way through. Is there any chance for an overtake? No, there isn't. All of a sudden, Mick Sutton's got through, and maybe even Brad Smith. Oh, there's contact there. Brad Smith spins it around. Rich Hayden takes advantage. Several cars all off on the exit there. Oh my word, what happened there? That was the exit of Park Corner. Kenny pressing the Noddy car off in the grass. Sam Milner right at the tail end of the field trying to come back through. Oh, and Simon Reed and Rich Hayden having a moment, maybe together, maybe not. Rich Hayden definitely losing out there though, as he comes down the gooseneck into Mansfield. Oh my word, this is all kicked off.
Yeah, great pass by Simon Reed down into the mountain section. I think that was just a case there. I think Simon Reed caught up to the back of Luke Weston a little bit faster than maybe he anticipated doing. Oh, Mick Sutton's lost it through the right-hander. He's going to have to be really careful here with a difficult reverse. Hopefully he doesn't get stuck in the middle of the track as other people come round, but looks like he's got away with it, I believe. Rich Hayden getting a little bit out of shape coming down the hill. But yeah, as I said, Simon Reed looked like he just got a little bit too close to the back of Luke Weston, had to back out, and that's what gave Mick Sutton that real good overlap and ability to get past. But at the moment, Simon Reed sat here in second place, looking in control. Be interested to watch the gap and see whether he can start to make any progress towards Luke Weston. But crucially, Brad Smith, a fantastic start of the race. We saw him have a very, very big moment, a half spin, managed to get the car straight and back up, but he is in P4. That's a brilliant place for Brad Smith to be in after he's qualifying. He needs to see whether he can close this gap a little bit onto the back of Rich Hayden, and that could be all that it needs to keep that points gap possible for a second place finish in this championship.
Yes, this could be very good, like you mentioned, but what I've just noticed as well is how spread out the field is already after all of the action in the first lap. You can see that Luke Weston leads the field by a margin of 1.5 seconds, there or thereabouts, ebbing and flowing between 1.5 to 2 seconds. Ahead of Simon Reed, who himself has a big advantage to Rich Hayden. And then you go back a little while until you see Brad Smith, first of a train that I think is going to start to form behind him. Obviously, we've got Brad Smith in 4th, Sam Milner 5th, Mick Sutton 6th, Kenny Press there in 7th. So it's all been kicking off early doors, but
and I tell you what, Ed, Simon Reed is absolutely flying. Just watch him through that mountain section there, and he took nearly half a second out of Luke Weston through the most difficult part of the track. So doing incredibly well, and I don't think it's going to be long before Simon Reed is in the toe of Luke Weston and giving himself an opportunity to go for a possible overtake. Just looking at Brad Smith's lap time as well, slightly slower than what it needs to be to make any progress onto the back of Rich Hayden. I actually think he's feeling a little bit of pressure from Sam Milner, who's tucked in just behind him.
Yes, that's what I was saying. I think Brad Smith not quite so quick, so there will be a queue stacked to form for 4th place, you would imagine. Simon Reed, though, on a great charge as he got through the field. Again, fastest man on the circuit, 44.5 in that first sector. Absolutely amazing first sector time there. And Simon Reed, you can see the difference that he makes up through the mountain section. In fact, hopefully we can go on board with Simon Reed just to see the advantage he's able to gain now on Luke Weston. Just look at the lines he's taking.
Yeah, so this is what I was on about. He's got them lines dialed in. He isn't. Oh, Luke Weston with a huge moment into the last corner. What a hold that was by Luke. But yeah, as you said, Simon Reed, He's just known where to push. That is so... I don't want to give a commentator's curse here, but that is looking so consistent through the mountain. He's got them lines dialed in. He's not pushing the car too hard. Look at that. Exactly what I was saying about cutting it in nice and early. He's got a lot of grass on the apex there, but you can do that. And he's starting to get in that tour now. This is where them lap times will start to fall without him actually driving any faster because he's got the overlap. And look at this, Mick Sutton with a possible move on Sam Milner. This is definitely another battle that is developing. Mick Sutton actually going very, very well indeed as well.
Yeah, that was the thing I was going to try and go to, is that closing fight, but it didn't quite work out for Mick Sutton there. Look at Simon Reed though, the lines he's taking, he's running quite wide out there, taking a lot through into the gooseneck and down through Mansfield, but just like we see on board with him, he's not taking that much out of the tyres through the mountain section, and it's working out for him. You know, you can just see the lines he's taking on the steering. Nice smooth inputs, he's not fighting the car whatsoever, whereas I imagine if we go to Luke Weston, you can see just the attitude of that car. He's having to fight it a little bit. We come through here, a corner that's been very difficult, of course, with the way that wheel sort of juts up. This is another problem corner for him. I think this time he's got it a bit more nailed down, so the pressure was telling for Luke Weston, but I think he's going to try and get a calmer head on his shoulders because there's still nearly 14 minutes remaining in this first race. But oh, we can see Mick Sutton closing in now on Sam Milner. This battling is allowing Brad Smith some breathing spaces. Whoa, Mick Sutton, big oversteer moment, but he held it nicely, drifting it through the final corner, held him up a bit, but that was so much better than the alternative, which was stacking it into the wall.
Yeah, so that's actually the third time I've seen that happen in this race. It happened with Luke Weston, it happened with Sam Milner there in front, and it happened with Mick Sutton. 3 drivers losing the back end of that into that last corner. Sorry, so that must be a real spot for maybe not quite enough camber on the back corner of that car. Maybe they just need to be a bit more careful loading the car up into there instead of nosing it in. Might be a case of that back wheel just slightly lifting on the inside there, going into there. But yeah, you can see this battle starting to develop. Sam Milner driving very, very well in the middle of this train at the moment. Mick Sutton driving within himself. I'm liking the consistency that he's shown at the moment. Nice and late on the brakes. Brad Smith doing enough to hold his own, but not really managing to pull any sort of lead and, you know, actually gain onto the back of Rich Hayden there. This is where Mick Sutton, that is a very, very determined overtake. Not an overtaking place at all, I would have thought, but what a move. That looks like he's done an overtake going up into the mountain section. He has indeed. He's made that stick through there. What a drive, Mick Sutton. Overtake of the day so far.
I was amazed he got it stopped in time. Look at the brakes, absolutely glowing bright there through the dust.
Rich Hayden,
kicked up. Rich Hayden. Huge moment coming into the side as well of Brad Smith. So Rich Hayden, we saw earlier, he had a moment, I think, earlier on that lap. I just saw him at the forefront of one of the shots. I think that was coming through the hairpin, actually, he had a moment. Then coming through Barn, it went from bad to worse for Rich. All of a sudden now, Brad Smith finds himself up into third. So very good for this man who's going to try and get second place in the championship. And Simon Reed, I think, as it stands, will be crowned champion.
Yeah, so I tell you one thing, I have noticed quite a bit of significant damage to the front of Brad Smith's car. Whether that will be too much hindering him on front end, maybe a little bit, but one thing it is definitely hindering him on is straight line performance. You saw there Mick Sutton literally just pulled out and drove past Brad Smith, so Brad will be struggling with a bit of straight line, and that might leave him a little bit more vulnerable to Sam Milner. Yet again, Rich Hayden in that last corner was what I was saying about on the previous lap, losing the back end and then having a collision with the inside barrier. So that last corner proved very, very tricky indeed for these drivers, and I reckon that corner is going to catch out a few more drivers yet.
Yeah, this is going to be about a real test of endurance, isn't it? It's only a 20-minute race, but for some of these drivers, it'll feel a lot longer because of how much they will have to navigate this circuit, how much focus and mental exertion it will take for these drivers here at Cadwell Park. It's such a difficult circuit to get right, but to get it right every single lap over 20 minutes is something else, isn't it, Dave? We can just see the back shot of Brad Smith. This this is going to really tell the damage done to the front of that car in terms of straight line speed. Just coming out of Charlie's now, this straight is going to tell the story.
Yeah, so might be able to jump onto the back of Sam Milner's car, and we might see the closing speed. This is going to be a case of fifth gear. Look, I reckon if we're on board with Brad Smith on the next lap, you'll be lucky if Brad Smith is near the limit of a fifth gear going along there. So quite significantly slow. I would have thought maybe 3-4 mile an hour, but actually looking at the split, it looks like Sam Milner is also struggling for top end speed. So actually, very lucky there to get away with that.
Both of them had a big moment. Brad Smith, you can see the rear of the car. He sent a car actually over to the left-hand side of the circuit in recovering the car. Didn't scrub the speed, just a small correction, drift the car into the left, regain control, then bring it back to the right. Sam Milner had to really soar at the wheel, kept it on the track just about a couple of wheels into the grass. But still, good car control. Look at how much as well Sam Milner sends it through the mountain. This has been what Sam's been doing pretty much all race long, is just send it through the Hall of Ends and then into the hairpin. Now coming through Barn, the final corner. Again, bad exit. This isn't sort of Sam Milner's strongest section. Those final couple of corners really catching him out. And that gives Brad Smith the breathing space yet again to stay in front on the areas where he's going to be pouting most from that damage. You can see the front wing at an angle, not what it's supposed to be doing or whatsoever. That obviously hampers him when he gets to the very top end of the gear ratios, when it becomes more of a factor. Here we go, on board now.
So let's watch fifth gear. So you can see 116 mile an hour, 117, 118, 120 he got to there. Bear in mind, this car should be around 124, 125 at the end of that straight. So he's losing about 5 mile an hour down that straight alone. So that, if you consider that's where he's losing 5 mile an hour, but think of the other straight, it's still going to be playing a part, and that's why Brad is really struggling to make any distance between him, Sam Milner, who also seems to be struggling a little bit with front end. I tell you what, Kenny Press is the guy on the charge at the moment. I think he can tell these two cars in front are starting to struggle. This is where he just needs to keep on the back of them, keep momentum, and then have an opportunity getting on that start-finish line straight or the big long straight after, and that's where he's going to have a great opportunity. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Just looking at the moment, Simon Reed, I think he's backed it off a little bit as Sam Milner nearly gets into the back of Brad Smith. But here's Kenny Press, look. Kenny Press is getting close. And Mick Sutton, we completely missed that. Mick Sutton is dropped off massively, and Brad Smith has found himself up into P3, and Kenny Press is now putting the charge on Sam Milner. So this might allow Brad Smith to get a little bit of breathing room, and this is maybe looking like a podium position.
I know this could be a very good result for Brad Smith if he can hold it through, because Sam Milner really struggles through those final couple of corners, hairpin and barn. He just can't seem to get the car slowed down enough. It's all about the exit here, but all about the entry it will be for Kenny Press. Can he send it on Sam? No. Slots in behind. The Noddy car, though, is looking very racy at this moment in time. What can he do to try and come through? Into the gooseneck they will go. And now it's going to be a matter of, I think, the mountain to separate all of these drivers here. But again, Brad Smith nice and cautious into the corner, but quick out. And that is the, well, cornering 101, isn't it? Slow in, fast out. And that is exactly what Brad Smith is doing at this moment in time.
Yeah, he has now. I've got to admit, Brad is doing a very good job here just to touch wood, keep this consistent and keep these drivers behind. It is a notoriously difficult track, but unfortunately slowest in the best opportunity for the drivers behind to get past. I'm liking Kenny Press through that mountain section. He looks really good, really smooth, and a bit more consistent, I would say, than Sam Milner. Sam Milner's looking a little bit sketchy.
Much better that time.
Yeah, but as you said, Sam Milner, brilliant exit, and looking quite close to the back of Brad Smith. So Brad Smith is going to have to find himself in a defensive opportunity here. But as I was saying there before a bit as well, I think Simon Reed's just backed the pace off a little bit from Luke Weston. It's not a battle he necessarily needs to be getting involved with. He knows this is a good opportunity to bring in the championship title in this race alone. So that's going to be one of the big things where Simon Reed's just going to look for that consistent finish, bring it home, bring home the points, and get the win tied up before the second race.
Yeah, I like to call it the human calculator when you're doing all of these championship permutations here, but I think this might be the easiest calculation you've had to do when Simon Reed eventually comes through with what you would imagine to be strong second place. Oh my word, big moment there. Oh dear, Sam Milner spins it around on the exit of the gooseneck. And that was, I think, just him taking too much speed into the corner front of the car, not having the downforce, so it just washes out wide, hard on the power, spins it around. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it goes sometimes. It was looking really good for him, though. He had a great run through, really closing up to the back of Brad
Kenny
Smith.
Press has gone as well.
Huge moment. Mick Sutton taking evasive action, and that is a big hit into the wall from Kenny Press. He's trying to get the car moving. I think he's stuck there. This could be a safety car.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens here for Kenny Press. But as you said, both drivers feeling the pressure a little bit behind Brad Smith, and Brad Smith's found himself in P3 with actually quite a lot of time between him and the drivers behind. So Brad Smith might be thinking this is now on for a P2 when the reverse grid's considered
Kenny
as well.
Press is still stuck. Kenny Press is still stuck. This could be a safety car.
So Kenny Press is stuck. I'd imagine as well that might be a retirement for Kenny Press. So I'd imagine he might find his way just back to the pits. I believe actually he has. He's cleared the track now. He's gone back to the pits. So the track's clear for Luke Weston to come through and Simon Reed, who were already in the mountain section. So it shows you how much of a gap them drivers that's been super consistent have really managed to pull on these other drivers a little bit further behind.
Such hard luck, though, isn't it, from Kenny Press? Just one moment.
Oh, Brad Smith!
Brad Smith's off. Brad Smith, he had complete clear track. He could just coast it through to the end. But maybe it was just the tyre wear and that damage that caught him out. Mick Sutton now finds himself up into third place from seemingly nothing. He was really struggling in this mid-phase of the race, but has got a really good turn of fortune now, and he's going to try and do all he can to stay in front. Sam Milner as well. I think he'll be off to buy a lottery ticket after this, because he's got very lucky with the driver's misfortunes here.
Yeah, he has, and I reckon Brad Smith will be absolutely fuming with that. A position where he didn't really need to push it that hard, and he's found himself dropping off the side of the track, and unfortunately getting in a little bit of a spin and dropping back to P5 now. He was looking like he was still provisionally in second place in the championship had he finished in the position he was. I can't take credit for that. Tom, our broadcaster, is doing a very, very great job to work that out in the background as well. So, yeah, this is going to mean it's more difficult now for Brad Smith to bring home them results. It might be very, very close on points, but I think they might just be still second, if not tie on points. But remember, the reverse grid race is going to be a lot further up that path, and he's got a great opportunity to try and put a bit of distance between him and Luke Weston in the second race.
Yeah, so a very unfortunate time that's just going a bit worse for Brad Smith. You can see the car just washes out as he goes out of the gooseneck down into Mansfield. It's so hard for him, I think, with the damage now on the tyres wearing their way through a track that obviously does use the tyres quite heavily through the sweeping corners, and then the quick direction changes needed through this forest section. So tricky for them to manage at the best of times, but even more so on a circuit like Cadwell Park. Can Sam Milner, though, come through for a good result, maybe trying to snatch a podium at the end here? We can see Luke Weston up at the front. Wow, what a pace he has been showing, and again, not too far off his previous best lap so far, being a 1:27.7. Last lap was a 1:27.9. So even on worn tyres, he's still so fast, faster than anyone else on the circuit.
Yeah, he is setting an extremely good pace, but whoa, he got a little bit sideways there, doing a very, very good job in P1 though. Simon Reed, as I said, he's put that good lap in. He's done a 1:28.0, not quite good enough for fastest lap, but showed he had the pace in the car. But I feel he's really just backed it off, wanting to bring it home. Mick Sutton has found himself in P3, even after being off the track maybe 2 or 3 times, he's still found himself in P3. But remember, with probably one of the best overtakes I've seen him or anyone else in this league manage to pull on one of the hardest places on the track. I've got to still give credit though. I believe it was on Sam Milner, Ed. You might have to correct me there.
Yeah, it was
But
Sam.
fair play to Sam Milner for giving him the room as well to make sure that both drivers didn't get taken out there. So fantastic racing between these two, and exactly the sort of progress we want to see in the academy for these drivers.
Yeah, it's not over yet. Can Sam Milner have a good run through these final couple of corners? He's been struggling here all night, so he needs to get this absolutely nailed down and try and close up to third place Mick Sutton. The white flag greets them as it has already greeted Luke Weston, who's just about to come up to the mountain section now. Such as his advantage over the rest of the field, nearly half a lap ahead of everybody else, or at least half a lap ahead of third and fourth place. Mick Sutton and Sam Milner. Well, there's going to be running out of superlatives to describe Luke Weston's race this evening. Commanding from start to finish. Excellent, wasn't it, off the start as well? And that was the real difference maker. Got ahead of Simon Reed early on and just built that margin lap after lap. So an excellent drive from Luke Weston. Sam Milner not closing down enough, so it will be Luke Weston who rounds out the final corner and takes the race victory here from the first race of the evening at Cadwell Park. A very commanding drive from Luke, who takes top honours ahead of Simon Reed, who with a second place finish, I think we can officially crown the champion of the Formula 4 league leg of the Academy VRRC League. What a drive it has been. What a championship run it was from Simon Reed. Back to back. Won it in the AX5 and wins it in the Formula 4. You can see here the podium is not settled down. Here is Mick Sutton. Oh, bit of a moment as well from Sam Milner, taking a lot in a last gasp attempt at any sort of position. And that has sealed it. Mick Sutton then, number 3, comes home in P3. What a result that was from him, fighting back through the field after mistakes, accidents early on that seemed to leave him out of contention. He fought hard, but fought fair. Third place goes the way of Mick Sutton. Sam Milner there coming through for a very respectable fourth place, with Brad Smith absolutely gutted to lose out on what could have been a really strong podium finish. He'll come through in 5th. Rich Hayden, you can see now, rounding out all of the drivers actually finishing this race in 6th. Obviously, the likes of Kenny Press and Simon Thorpe didn't make it till the end, had to retire into the pits. So, as we can see, all the drivers making their way into the pit lane. They also make their way into the commentary box to have a word with Dave Marshall.
We do indeed. So as we can see, we know, Mick, you still go around the track, but hopefully you can still speak. As you do that, I don't know whether you've got your mic on push to talk or just unmute. But as I said, what a fantastic result, finding yourself into a provisional P3. You are in P3. I mean, he didn't make that easy, did he? Sam Milner behind all the way to the finish line, nearly getting an opportunity to make a pass going into that second to last turn, but doing enough, bringing it home. And I've got to give you credit, one of the best overtakes we've seen in the entire, whole academy, I would say. Fantastic overtake on the most tricky section on the track.
Yes, that was hard work, I can tell you. I don't know if anybody watched the touring cars yesterday, but in Mr. Addison's words, I was working harder than a fat lad's archer is.
Well, I've got to ask about that overtake. I tell you, you maybe thought you would get the job done before you got to the right hander before the uphill. You put the lunge going up the left. It was almost job done, but Sam Milner kept his foot in, kept you true all the way up through the right and over the top of the mountain. Big respect to both of you there for not creating a collision.
No, that was good racing with Sam. He's always fair. He's never aggressive, and you know, I tried not to be. You know, obviously I had to show my nose, but yeah, it was a nice feeling when that one got done. Definitely.
Well, fantastic result there, Mick. But as I said, Sam Milner was putting the pressure on there at the end, wasn't he?
He certainly was. He was quicker than me in that last section by a good margin, and I was having to just be very careful because, I mean, I had 2 spins in that race. I mean, I was 7th, I think, at one point, plumb last. But anyway, we got there in the end. We got to 3rd. I can't be disappointed with that.
You did indeed, Mick. Huge congratulations. P3, and let's see what you can bring in race 2.
Thank you.
I'll move forward on our P2 finisher and provisionally our championship winner, Simon Reed. exactly what you need to do. You'd have probably liked the P1, but I think, you know, you put your fast lap in there and just backed it off a little bit to make sure you brought home the points.
Yeah, exactly that. I didn't really want to get drawn into a battle with Luke where it could have all ended in tears then. So that's why I stayed behind him for the first half, watching to see if he was going to make a mistake. When I realised he was going to stay on the track, I thought, well, I can be pretty happy with second, and technically for the championship, it doesn't get much better really for me.
And I've got to ask what happened off the line. It seemed like you maybe got a slight bog off away from the line, and maybe just getting a little bit caught out on that back straight, and actually allowed P3 Mick Sutton to get up the inside of you and past you.
Yeah, I had a bad start certainly. I think I just didn't slip the clutch well enough, and yeah, and then I was just trying to stay on the track, you know, trying not to get too much damage. If that meant, you know, letting some people through, then so be it.
Well, huge congratulations on bringing on P2. Also, the provisional win of the championship. And I take it we're going to see you go a bit more all out in this second race and see what you can do.
Well, I mean, I might as well, I suppose.
Well, there's always driver of the day to win, remember, Simon, as well. So we're looking forward to seeing what you can do and seeing how far you can get through.
Cheers, Dave. Looking forward to it.
I'm moving on to our P1 finisher, Luke Weston. I mean, it's just a case of super consistent, super clean driving style and a brilliant start that got you the win.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. I was quite happy with that. The start went to plan, and everything was reasonably under control from there.
I mean, I've got to ask, for me personally, this car and this track, yes, it's difficult, but it's one of them tracks, it's so fun, so rewarding. I take it's a bit the same for you. It looked like you were having great fun out there.
Yeah, I've been saying all day, I've been having such a fun time in this car around this circuit. It's so fast, and when you get the lap right, it feels so good.
Well, looking forward to seeing how you get on in race 2, Luke. Managing to get your ways through some of this traffic, hopefully. We might be chatting to you afterwards, but if not, huge congratulations on taking a P1 finish here.
Thank you, guys.
So, what a first race that was. Simon
Look at
Reed
that.
on the top of the standings as well, and tied for second place, Luke Weston and Brad Smith. Now, not sure who breaks it in terms of race victories. I think it would be Luke Weston, but you can correct me on that.
Yeah.
So at the moment, Luke Weston is in second place, but it will basically, I think, come down to who comes out on top this time out, because they can't get the same amount of points. Maybe there's fastest laps that come into the equation potentially, but Brad Smith has to finish ahead of Luke Weston now.
Yeah, that is the top and bottom of it. If Brad Smith can finish ahead of Luke Weston, then he has done it. But yeah, actually, I say that it is possible actually if there's only a 1 point gap. So if, let's say, Brad Smith finished 6th, Luke Weston 7th. Anyway, we'll talk about that during the race. Race is about to start. Go for it in there.
Yeah, so the lights are going out and the cars go racing here. Rich Hayden with a good start, but actually Brad Smith around the outside. Is he going to do what we saw Simon Thorpe do in the first race? You know what? He's going to go for it around the outside through the first corner, and he's going to have the inside for the next. Oh my word, Mick Sutton spins around on the exit. Big moment for him. He's going to be having to do a lot of work to catch back up to these guys up in front, because Brad Smith now, he's doing a great job. Exactly what he needs to do in the lead of the race ahead of Rich Hayden. Much like we saw what obviously Luke Weston did, now Brad Smith has done. So an excellent stuff here. And actually, I think the car's slowing down.
Yes,
Safety car has been called for, of course, that big moment we saw with Mick Sutton. Hopefully Mick will easily close on, and we should go racing hopefully by the end of this lap. You can see him coming now actually. So had I think maybe he went actually back into the pits. I had to pull off the track, get towed back, and then can go racing once more. So Brad Smith, he was able to build a bit of an advantage to Rich Hayden, but that has slowly but surely been eaten up. So they will go through the mountain section. Brad Smith will, of course, set the pace and decide when the field goes back to racing speed. And he'll need to do a very good job to break that toe to get enough of an advantage coming out of Charlie's, because that long straight into Park is where we see a lot of moves being made.
Yeah, it will indeed. So you can see I'm not quite sure whether the racing will go ahead on this lap or not. Rich Hayden there in second place. Luke Weston already up into P3 at the moment in this race. So fantastic job by Luke Weston there. Yeah, as I say, Mick Sutton hasn't managed to get onto the back of these. I'm not sure whether the racing will commence this lap. It's hard to say, but I would say it's looking like the drivers have gone. So I reckon safety car is in. I tell you what, Simon Reed, look, already with a possible move on the... Oh, nearly on the outside of Luke Weston there. I tell you what, we said Simon Reed would be stepping a bit up more in this last race. It's his now. He's got the championship sorted. Let's see what he can do. But I tell you what, Simon has really impressed me with the maturity in the way he's driven today. Fantastic effort.
Yeah, I reckon if he comes through for another good result, he could be a good shout for driver of the round. But look at how hard Luke Weston has been racing. He's another candidate as well. Took driver of the round, I think, last time out, didn't he? At Thruxton. He's having a great chance to try and take second place in the championship.
He's gone off, and Simon Reed's gone off with him.
So has Simon Reed. Yeah, good to mention that. Both drivers there with a moment coming through the gooseneck. So now we can see Rich Hayden securing second place, but this is playing really well into the hands of Brad Smith. He just needs to churn out the lap times, be that little bit quicker and build the advantage ahead of Rich Hayden. Look at how much Luke Weston is fighting the car now. He's not really had too much trouble so far. He's been up at the front, not needing to worry about overtaking, but this is the time where he has to come through and show a good bit of racecraft to get up ahead of Rich Hayden and try and race with Brad Smith to secure second place in the championship, because that is what is at stake here. Nothing else will do for Luke Weston. He has to finish ahead of Brad Smith, who is currently leading the race.
Yeah, he does, and Brad Smith, you know, in that it's almost like is it the drumsticks that you get? That's sort of custard and rhubarb in. I'm going to say the custard and rhubarb car of Brad Smith there in front. Rich Hayden with a little bit of that buffer between them. But yeah, Luke Weston actually under a bit of pressure here from Simon Reed. Simon Reed with that great mountain section just looks that little bit smoother, a little bit less on the edge. Luke Weston taking quite a lot of curbs in certain places. And I tell you what, it's a little bit of a risky game. And whoa, I don't know whether that was a little bit of lag or what, but it looked like Simon Reed just got a little bit of rubber banding towards the back of Luke Weston's car. This could be a lunge by Luke Weston towards Rich Hayden, but it isn't. Luke Weston tucks back in. Simon Reed's going to have another opportunity to get a bit closer. This is going to be brave. Luke Weston, this is not necessarily a place to overtake. Mick Sutton managed to pull it off. Oh, and I tell you what, Rich Hayden's managed to tuck back in front of Simon Reed. This is now all to play for. Luke Weston, Brad Smith in front of him. This is second and third place in the championship battle. Wow.
Wow, indeed. Look at this. Simon Reed down the inside. So brave into the hairpin. He got the move done, nailed in on Rich Hayden. So now he's up into third place. He's already secured the championship, but he's just racing for fun now. Excellent stuff by Simon Reed. Oh, Mick Sutton. That was through the forest section. Not what we was hoping from Mick. He's just having an evening to forget, unfortunately, at Cadwell Park. Luke Weston, though, he's on a charge, and this is going to be the race for not only the lead, but for also second place in the championship. Luke closing down to Brad Smith. Brad will need to defend for his life to stay in front, I think.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this battle to start to develop. I just hope that Luke Weston calculates a little bit where he needs to put that move on, put the pressure on through the mountain, see if he makes a mistake. But to me, I wouldn't be really thinking that the mountain is really a great place to put that overtake on. He might show nose here. No, he doesn't. He just stays hooked up behind Brad Smith. We've seen him get a good run out of here. That's what put him alongside Rich Hayden the lap prior. But you can see Brad Smith still far enough in advance, and actually Simon Reed really starting to make some progress onto these front two now. You can see Luke Weston smashed that inside curve, and Sam Milner, with a great pass by Simon Thorpe there to get through and past it. I believe it was actually, yes, it was Simon Thorpe there. I thought I was mistaken there, but yes, the yellow car of Simon Thorpe.
Simon Reed then looking to get involved in the mix as well. Yeah, we just saw a slight mistake from Luke Weston. Could that open the door into the first corner by Simon Reed? He's going to look to the outside, not close enough, unfortunately, to make a move just yet. Is Simon giving the breathing room, though, to Brad Smith? That could be enough of a break in the draft as well to give Simon Reed the advantage. Luke Weston won't be able to get that extra bit of speed, but look at the run he gets out of Charlie's. You could see through the final couple of corners, Luke Weston was really struggling, and I think there's a bit of delay there, a bit of lag, because you can see the rubber banding bringing Simon Reed that much closer. Simon Reed actually having to take evasive action almost. This is going to be something I really hope doesn't come into a bit of contact, perhaps, because it's so unfortunate, isn't it, if there's a bit of lag that comes into play, because it's through no fault of the other driver then.
Yeah, so I'm going to actually say that if there ends up being a collision here because of rubber banding, it shouldn't be really something taken into consideration for driver of the day, because the way both of these drivers have driven has been absolutely fantastic so far. You can't sometimes help a little bit of rubber banding. Simon Reed putting extremely good pressure for me onto the back of Luke Weston here. Brad Smith, though, we've got to point out, still doing enough, holding good solid pace. Oh, Simon Reed! What a save! What a save that was through that section! Oh my days! I mean, I was holding my breath myself there.
How has Simon Reed done that? That was out of this world, an amazing save in one of the hardest cars you've ever seen these drivers race in, on one of the hardest circuits these drivers have raced on. That was just beyond belief how he was able to hold that, and again, he's just making it so much easier for us to call him driver of the round.
That, I can't believe he held that. I mean, anyone watching this, you do not understand how hard that would have been to save that car. The reactions there from him to get that correction, the brake, and he was so close to the wall in the pressure to try and keep it into P3 ahead of Rich Hayden as well. Not that he would have been thinking that on that time, but what a drive that was by Simon Reed. And yes, you're right, a definite consideration. Brad Smith, no! And Rich Hayden going off behind. Brad Smith with a mistake through one of the fastest corners. Can he press? No, it's not. It's no!
Oh,
Simon Thorpe. Oh, nightmare there. Simon Thorpe with a possible best result, doing very well. Brad Smith, though, in the rhubarb and custard car, just finding it very difficult through there, spinning out, and provisionally Luke Weston will take P2 now in the championship, and Kenny Press find his way up into P3. And look at this battle for P1. Simon Reed now all over the back of Luke Weston. In fact, he might already have an overlap done here. This is a brilliant battle for P1 and 2. This is what we want to see in race 1.
Yeah, this is it. Now Simon Reed doesn't need to worry about anything. He can just go all out. This was the fight we didn't have in the first race because Simon Reed was measuring the race, backing off, securing seconds, securing the championship. But now he is just going to go all out to try and secure a final race victory of the season, to try and take something away from Luke Weston. Luke, who won the first race by commanding fashion, is not going to have it all his way this time, that is for sure. Look at how much Simon Reed is closing in. Again, a couple of wheels wide onto the grass by Luke Weston through that corner. He's really starting to struggle, and I think Simon Reed is going to pile the pressure on for the next 10 minutes or so. Look at them go through the gooseneck. Look at Simon Reed, twitchy on the exit. He is going absolutely hammer and tongs for this race victory if he can get there. So difficult, though, to pass Cadwell Park. This track is all about the flow, all about trying to set up moves. There are enough laps in advance, let alone corners in advance. So what can Simon Reed do to try and get a run? This is going to be a crucial forest section for him, making sure he doesn't have any mistakes that we saw last time by, and he doesn't. Keeps it nice and strong, opens up the hairpin nicely. He's going to try and get a beautiful run. He is really up there now, trying to find a way past Luke Weston.
Yeah, so Simon Reed for me, he's so strong in that, from the jump into the second to last corner and in this first section. This is incredibly great racing. I didn't think we would be seeing racing this wheel to wheel round Cadwell Park in a car this difficult. This is where he just needs to back it off a little bit, calculate the run and get the drive onto this straight. That's looking incredibly close now. In fact, he's got the overlap. He's managed to get a wheel past Luke Weston. Is there enough space there? They are side by side. Simon Reed with the overtake. It's going to be in the braking area, but Simon Reed has done it. He's passed Luke Weston for the lead. What a fantastic drive by both of these drivers. I've got to say, the race and respect, and I bet both of these drivers have one hell of a grin on the face right now.
But now he's in front. Can he stay there is the real question. What can Luke Weston do to try and answer back, to try and find a way through? 8 minutes still on the clock for these drivers. Simon Reed, he's taken the championship, at least provisionally for the moment, but he's going to try and seal it off with a win in the greatest of fashions. What a battle that was between himself and Luke Weston. He set it up so beautifully, had an amazing run through that final corner. Huge twitch again for Simon Reed, but he retains it. He keeps control of the car. Oh my word, he is absolutely wringing the neck. He's not going pedestrian now that he's in the front. He's trying to build that advantage. You know what? I think he has, he carried a lot of speed through, covered the twitch off nicely, and now has got an amazing gap to Luke Weston. Wow. Yeah, Simon Reed, this is a champion's drive. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah, he's brought his A game for this second race. Luke Weston pulling a little bit of a gap away now from Simon Reed. I don't know whether that's Luke Weston just going, you know what, it's been a great battle, but I'm quite happy to finish in P2, bring home the points and not get involved in a battle, because if he bins it, then obviously you've got to remember Brad Smith, all he would need to do is finish ahead. At the moment, unfortunately, though, Brad Smith still sitting there in P4, not being able to battle Luke Weston for this championship, really. Simon Reed currently setting the fastest first sector. I'm a little bit worried with how fast Simon Reed is pushing this here. This has got an opportunity for either a brilliant lap or a really, really big crash. So let's just see how this pans out. Maybe we can jump on board with Simon as he goes through this mountain section.
Yes, Simon Reed he's been wringing the neck of this Formula 4 again. You can see he's having these little micro corrections, but he keeps the momentum up, keeps the speed through.
Double purple.
Again, this is going to be a very quick lap from Simon Reed. What will it be as he comes across the line? It's always guaranteed to be the fastest lap of the race, and it's a 27.8. The only driver so far this race to get into the 1 minute 27s. Such a stonking lap. I think that's the right word, isn't it? Stonking for that.
Stonking is the way we're going to describe him. Stonking Simon. I think that's the is the new phrase. But yeah, I mean, doesn't need to be pushing this hard, but fair play. He's just ringing the car for everything it's got, and I would say he's still pushing by the look of it. He's gone faster yet again, I think, by the looks of things. We'll wait and see on his sector times alone. Luke Weston's just sitting there thinking, blinking next time, if you want to push the car that much, I'm going to let you crack on and see if you end up the wall.
Yeah, and as well, don't forget, Luke Weston has got his own championship battle to think about, trying to secure second place, which is probably the reason why he's hanging back a little bit, maybe conceding the battle on the track, but winning the battle in the championship compared to his main rival, Brad Smith. He's actually, though, just set the fastest first sector as Luke Weston.
He has.
So maybe this is all about managing the race, keeping the tyres nice. Simon Reed's had a big moment. He's in the wall. He spins around. Oh, Luke Weston into the lead.
Oh, what a nightmare for Simon Reed. It was like such a great drive, and I don't know whether this is going to actually be quite a bit of damage now on the front of Simon's car. It looks like he's still driving it. Is the wheel straight? Yeah, the wheel actually looks reasonably straight, so just a front wing damage there and a lack of aero maybe, so we might see him a little bit slowed down the next straight. But I tell you what, fair play for putting on a show, Simon Reed.
Oh, Simon Reed, he is just something else, isn't he? He's driving it so hard, bringing the neck, putting on, like you say. If he's not stonking Simon, he's the showman Simon, isn't he? Having a great time. I think no matter what's going to happen, he's going to come out of this race absolutely grinning ear to ear, because he's given an amazing account for himself and proven that he's got this championship on merit. Some might say that he's been able to profit from other drivers not making it to the Royal Irons, but I don't think that anyone can have complaints about the way he is driven this evening. Has been nothing short of championship material. an amazing performance from Simon Reed, who's going to probably now back off a bit and try and secure second place. He's got a big enough advantage to Sam Milner that he can do that, as we see Rich Hayden going very wide through Charlie. He's trying to overtake on the grass. A bit of rallycross action there from Rich Hayden, trying to get ahead of Simon Thorpe. But another thing to mention as well, Brad Smith, huge credit has to go to him for staying out there for this race, for carrying on. He's actually not too far back. He's in 4th position after a huge moment that we saw from the leader race. I think just dipping a wheel wide, maybe a couple of inches, and it's sometimes worse going a couple inches wide than maybe a few feet wide, because that really does upset the balance completely of the car, and that's, I think, what caught out Brad Smith.
Yeah, so as I said before, you know, these cars are that stiff, and the gradient change on this track alone, it's a notorious track, whatever vehicle you're in, but especially something this stiff, this rigid. It's not an easy track at all to do, and I recommend anyone who wants a real challenge, jump on the game, have a try of what these drivers are trying to do at the moment, and trying to lap it consistently, and you will see how difficult this really is. I cannot wait, Ed. The TTs, as you said, sign-ups are live. The TTs with push to pass round here is going to be a fantastic spectacle to both race in and to watch.
Oh yeah, it's going to be such an amazing strategic battle to see the push to pass coming in. I implore everyone, if you are enjoying the racing and you think, oh, maybe I should get involved, maybe I shouldn't, just go for it. There's nothing to lose. It's just a fun time out. You can see all the drivers out here. You always have someone to race, and you'll never know if you don't think you're that quick. We've seen drivers develop so well in this championship, which is the whole point of it, is to develop that driving talent. I mean, a true testament to that has to probably be Brad Smith. He's one of the drivers that came through and was developing race after race.
Yeah, so if we look in the actual academy itself, we've had drivers come through that were, let's face it, starting near at the back. Brad Smith jumped in it, and he was a little bit down on the grid. He's come in, he's progressed, and he's got to be always one of the drivers to look out for a possible first place. Pretty consistent podium finisher, hence why he's in the battle and currently sitting P3 in the championship. But the biggest story for me has to be Andy Dorman, a driver who was part of the academy earlier on. I'm sure you remember him from MX5, Ed, who actually went on to race in our mini JCW challenge in League of Champions that we run on a Tuesday night, and actually put it P3 on the grid. It really just showed how much progression he's shown as a driver, and really how it helped him grow into being who can actually get them sort of results. So fantastic finish from Andy Dorman, and make sure you tune in. It is on tomorrow night from 7:15 on exactly the same platforms, YouTube and Facebook. League of Champions Mini JCW at Nürburgring Short track. So yeah, make sure you tune in, see how Andy Dorman, one of our academy drivers who's moved up to the next level, make sure you go and check it out and see how he gets on.
Yeah, definitely. There's some big name drivers as well that Andy Dorman's been up with the mix in, hasn't he? He's been doing a very good job. Simon Reed, another spin, another moment, but he's been able to keep it going, keep it out of the wall. As Luke Weston comes across the line, greets the white flag. He's just got one more tour of this Cadwell Park circuit, one more tour in the Formula 4 for this season, and he will take a second race victory, 2 from 2. In dramatic fashion as well, taking advantage of a Simon Reed mistake. But that battle him and Simon had was nothing short of legendary. That was an amazing race between the pair of them.
Yeah. What a drive that was. I think that's probably one I will go back and I'll actually watch it and use as a bit of a training program for some of the drivers that'll be joining the academy. Going back, watching what they did, the respect shown, maybe ways in which it could be improved. What a fantastic bit of racing that was for about 3 or 4 laps, as well as I'm going to go and study how the world Sam Reed kept that out of the wall with that huge save over the mountain.
Definitely one for the season highlight reel, isn't it? Definitely one for all of the social medias, because that was an amazing battle, but an amazing race as well from this man, Luke Weston. He's just going to come through the forest section now into the hairpin, a little bit of a twitch there, going into the hairpin now, and then through the final corner, barn corner curve, whichever way you want to call it. It's the final turn for Luke Weston, who will take a second race victory this evening. An amazing drive from himself. Luke Weston there takes race victory 1 and 2 of the evening, ahead of Simon Reed, his second place, to really round out an amazing championship drive from himself. And Sam Milner will finish on the podium here. Not really challenged as hard as he was in the previous race, but comes through for a great result nevertheless. Brilliant drive from Sam.
Fantastic P3 there from Sam. I'm sure we'll get his thoughts there, but I tell you what, Sam Milner, also another driver. We've seen him progress so much, haven't we, Ed, since the start?
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, sitting there in P3 really just shows that his class when he was racing with Mick Sutton there, the fantastic overtake by Mick, but the respect given to leave him enough room, but still to put the pressure on him to pull that overtake. Fantastic effort. And also Simon Thorpe, great to see him bring home a P6. Unfortunately getting involved with that Brad Smith collision, but until then was running fantastically and actually had a chance of a P4.
I know, it was one heck of an evening as Simon Reed now into the grass, trying his best to give us donuts.
Celebratory donuts, yeah.
You know what, who can blame him? What a championship campaign it has been for that man, Simon Reed. I mean, thankfully he's not going to be getting an itemised bill from MSV. I think they do like their grass to be kept nice and tidy, don't they?
Yeah, they do, as well as his tyres.
What an evening that has been from everyone here in the champion. To be fair, what a championship it has been as well. I'm going to miss the Formula 4s, but I will be looking forward to the Audi TTs. And we do have now drivers coming in for a word with Dave Marshall, both after the race and also maybe some thoughts on the championship as well. We've got Sam Milner with Dave Marshall first.
Yeah, so we go down to Sam, and I was just saying the improvement we've seen from you from when you started off in the academy to where you are now. It's fantastic to see. Yes, Mick Sutton made that overtake on you in race 1, but I was saying to Ed, the respect shown there and the way you managed to hold your line, keep the pressure on for him to pull the overtake, but there was no contact. Brilliant race and respect. Fair play, Sam Milner, and also bringing home a P3 in race 2.
Yeah, I mean that's the key really with this car as well. You know, you've got to race cleanly because it punishes you. As for getting on the podium, I think I was just lucky to not get damage. I know the other guys were all saying, you know, they were low on speed and everything like that, but I just tried to keep my nose clean as much as possible, and it paid off. Even though I had a few spins and a few moments myself.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't necessarily say that's luck, Sam. I thought you calculated it brilliantly, and that's the thing that we've really seen you grow as a driver as well. We've seen a lot more calculation, a lot smoother style from you, and it's really responded in its result. Fantastic effort tonight.
Cheers, Dave. Yeah, really enjoyed the championship. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, and a quick question: front wheel drive. Obviously push to pass, a car you've never driven before, but push to pass, you know, you've got that button that will allow you to have that extra 50 horsepower on them straights or out of a corner exit. How challenging do you think that's going to be to add another dimension to the race and that you're not used to?
Yeah, it's definitely going to take a lot of getting used to. I'm looking forward to getting back into tin tops as well. A bit more elbows out racing. It sort of, I think it suits the tracks and some of the drivers in here as well. So I think it'll just be a really, really close championship next time round.
Well, fantastic. A P3 finish from you, Sam. A great race 1 as well. And looking forward to seeing how you get on next time out in the TTs.
Great. Yep.
I'll move forward on our P2 finisher, Simon Reed. I mean, how do I sum up that drive? A maximum attack, maybe?
Absolutely. As you said, I had nothing to lose, so I went for it. Unfortunately, I pushed the tyres a bit too far and put me in the barrier, but you know, I hope I gave Luke a bit of a battle.
Yeah, I mean, that race and there, I'm going to go back and actually watch that. First of all, you had one of the biggest saves I've ever seen going through the mountain. I don't know how you kept that out of the wall, but also that battle that went on for about 3 or 4 laps with Luke. I mean, fair play to both of you. Fantastic racing between you. Not a bit of collision or contact. But I was saying to Ed, I said I bet both drivers there have got a good smile on the face. Great hard racing.
Absolutely, yeah. It was loads of fun. I was just a shame. I said I ran out of tyres and pushed it a bit too hard, but never mind. I've done what I needed to do at the end of the day.
Well, huge congratulations, Simon, and you were also awarded our driver of the day as well. A brilliant commitment, and yeah, just shown great racing all day long.
It's great. Thanks very much, Dave. I appreciate it.
And we'll move forward on our P1 finisher. Luke, a bit of a similar story as last time out in the car. The F4 really is a car you've just really clicked with and shown phenomenal pace and phenomenal racecraft in both last week and today's results.
Yeah, it was a really good championship, of course. Well done to Simon. That was a really fun battle with him all the way through the season. And and again today, really good battle with him this evening.
And I'll quickly touch upon the next championship. I can't remember or not whether you've actually been in the TTs and driven the cars before, but I take it it's a completely different challenge. And I tell you what, it could be harder to defend them opportunities when they get up behind you, when they activate that push to pass. Yeah,
I mean, going back to where I started with the VRRC and the TT Cup and the League of Champions.
I thought it was, I was gonna call you out on it. I thought it was, but I didn't want to say for definite.
Yeah, I started off in that one. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenge defending from those behind with the push to pass feature on the cars. But I reckon it's going to be a very fun championship to watch and take part in as well.
Well, huge congratulations, Luke, on tonight with a double P1 finish, and really looking forward to seeing how you get on next championship out.
Yeah, thank you.
So Luke Weston there exiting the commentary box, and you can see now confirmation that he has secured second place in the championship behind champion Simon Reed. He's still on the bounce for Simon. Can he make it a third in the TTs? That is the big question. Brad Smith there finishing with a very respectable third place. He might be left wondering what could have been, but I don't want that to take away from the amazing performance he's had all season long. Third place, considering the level of competition there has been for him throughout this entire season. That is not a bad result whatsoever. And another thing to note as well about Luke Weston is that he's come very strong, hasn't he, in this Formula 4, winning the first 2 rounds at Brands Hatch and now winning the final 2 rounds here at Cadwell. So bookending the season with 2 dominant performances. It's a shame that he wasn't able to keep that championship charge going all the way through the season.
Yeah, exactly that. It just shows a little bit has to do with attendance. Luke, obviously, I believe he was on holiday for the mid section of the championship. But Sean, the F4, I think he really clicked with the car. And it'll be interesting whether he's still got that same form when it goes to front wheel drive, when the cars can be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more door-to-door action. As you can see there on screen, our Audi TTs, as I said, a completely unique feature of that push to pass, an extra boost for 8 seconds, and then you're not allowed to use it again for another 16. So really difficult if you use that boost too early and the car in front and then retaliate. It is so hard to race them cars, and you've got to think of strategy. You only get so many a race, so it's going to be really interesting. If that sounds like a bit of you, or you want to test the car, make sure you get involved. Join the VRRC Discord channel or message us on Facebook and get involved.
Yes, absolutely. Really looking forward to the Audi TT Cup. Hopefully we see plenty of drivers signing up for that. The more, the merrier. And you can as well see that tomorrow there's still action on VRRC, the mini JCW in the AOC Gaming League of Champions. VRRC League, like you said, Nürburgring short track. Is that the GP circuit minus the Nordschleife?
Yeah, so Nürburgring short. it's quite a difficult track, actually. It's quite bumpy in them cars. But as I said before, Andy Dorman, one of our academy drivers that's gone on into the other championship with bigger prizes, and actually put a P3 on the grid last time out. But also the likes of Dan Zelos. We've got Nicky Taylor, who also competes in real life Coopers. We've got a lot of real drivers competing in that championship, practicing a little bit for the winter series that's coming up for the official mini challenge as well. So entries won't be too far off being open for that as well. So make sure you get involved, and if you want to get involved, as I said, Facebook or our Discord channel, and just drop us a message. Just find out what's going on, and we'll sure be happy to see anyone who joins.
Yes, absolutely. And you can see in the bottom of the, at least the description on the YouTube, there is the Discord link, so you can all get involved there. But unfortunately, I think that is all the time we have for this evening, Dave. So any final thoughts from yourself on what has been an amazing Formula 4 championship?
Yeah, I mean, the F4 really has proved itself to be actually a very, very challenging series indeed. And Cadwell Park, I tell you what, I didn't think it was a track where you could necessarily race it as hard as what the likes of Luke Weston, Simon Reed, and also the Sam Milner and Mick Sutton battle. Fantastic battles, and one that I'm actually going to go back and watch a few moments from. So fantastic efforts tonight, but I've got to admit, I cannot wait for the TTs. It's my favourite car to race. A completely different discipline to anything else you've ever raced before. So yeah, I cannot wait for that.
And neither can I. And it's been an amazing championship. The Formula 4 has had its own fair share of thrills and spills over the course of the championship. But now, here at VRRC, we will look forward to, in a few weeks' time, getting the action back underway in the Audi TTs. I've been Ed May. Dave Marshall has joined me in the coach box, and Tom O'Farrell has been your broadcaster for the evening. But from all of us here, wishing you a very nice evening. So goodbye, take care. Most importantly, stay safe.
Between the two of them, the inside of Coates. Parker gets too heavily involved, and that's Whitehead and Coates.